also want to talk up to you, Kathleen. I want to hear about your story. You're in the middle of your reconstructive surgery now, right?
I have expanders in, so I'm
Oh,
having to
aren't they fun?
had them forever. It's so funny. They look pretty good, even though they're expanders. But I'm having the silicone implants done on the 5th of August. So this is like, if you will, step in this whole crazy year.
So tell us about, I know you found your lump as well during a self-exam, as did I. So tell me kind of more about how you found it and how did you know that, to follow up on it, tell us kind of your experience.
Well, I was always good about doing self-exams. I don't know why. I did. My grandmother had breast cancer, but she was in her 70s and she had a mastectomy. So since then, I was always like attuned at a very young age. I started doing self-exams when I was 18. And I had dense breasts as well, but I thought, well, I'm doing mammograms every year. I'm fine. I didn't realize that I really should have been doing an ultrasound. But during my exam, I was due for another mammogram in August, but I think it was June, and it was kind of towards the side. And sometimes I get nervous. I rub like this, and I was like, well, what is this? And it felt like a really hard feel to it. So my mom had cysts, and she's like, well, it's probably a cyst. Let's go to get it checked out. So I did, and they said, well, the mammogram didn't pick it up at all. Probably where it was located, maybe, I don't know. So they said, let's do an ultrasound. So they did the ultrasound, and then the technician goes, I need to call the radiologist. Then the radiologist came in the room. Then I knew I had a problem because my grandfather was a radiologist, and I remember him saying, we don't ever see any patients unless we have to tell them bad news. So then I'm like, great. And they said, we're going to have it done. And then it turned out, well, I'm like, well, it's small. I'm young. It should be fine, right? And they're like, I'm sorry, it's triple negative. And I did probably what everyone else did. I Googled it. And that was the stupidest thing I did because I thought, oh, there's a support group. And by reading the triple negative, I thought I was going to be dead in a year. Anxiety, fed the anxiety. And so I got a phone call. I think I had the ultrasound done on a Thursday. My son was just turning 11 that weekend. We had a birthday party for him. I am a teacher, so I was at school on Monday for freshman orientation because I teach preschool. I said, okay, well, next week's the start of school. Tuesday morning, I got a phone call from my OBGYN, and she said, Kathy, I'm so sorry, you have cancer. And I was joking because I was like, wait a minute, I have to teach next week. I'm a single parent. It's just me. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I can't take time off from work. I don't have a backup. I said, am I gonna will teach this year? I have to start school next week, and it was just one of those denial immediately. I went into school just to keep my mind off things, and then I was waiting in genetic testing, and it took forever because I think after Angelina, everyone was getting the test done, and I had a choice. I could either do a lumpectomy and save my breast, or I could do the double mastectomy, and I really didn't want a double mastectomy. It would mean more time out of work. I'm a single parent. I couldn't, be the mom that I needed to be. And then I got the genetic testing done, results back a week before I was supposed to have my operation. And they said, I'm so sorry, you're BRCA positive. And I'm BRCA positive 1. And devastated, totally devastated. Then I had to change everything. I had a mastectomy in October during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I was on the news and everything. I was just, I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to hear about it. I had it done, a lot of pain. I had post-surgical amnesia. I don't remember anything until October 30th. It was the 14th. Apparently I was in good spirits. I guess I treated it nicely. I just don't remember anything. And then I started chemotherapy 2 days before Thanksgiving. And I had TC, and I had 4 sessions of those.
And what's TC exactly?
Toxin Taxotere.
Okay.
And I apparently had when they put the Taxotere in, I believe I had an allergic reaction to it, which sometimes happens.
Yeah.
My mom, my aunt was there talking, and my voice started to get really itchy. And I was like, started losing my voice, and all of a sudden everyone just swooped around me really quick. So it was under control. It was just a little scary. I finished that in February. school full-time as a teacher. I teach high school, and pretty much went back into the norm. Although I was tired, but I was, that's all I could do, because with triple negative, we're only having surgery and chemo, and that's it. I didn't have radiation because I was stage 1 and there was no lymph node involvement. So that's the only good thing about this whole experience.
How was it being at, I mean, I can kind of empathize with you that I don't regret it, but I hear it with you that work became sort of my focus. I worked at a hedge fund, so I was in sort of crazyville, but it was kind of nice at the time because it took my mind off of, you know, cancer and treatments and doing all of this, and I could just kind of refocus. And I almost got to a point where I think, and maybe you guys can all kind of agree, that when you're first diagnosed and you are telling people that you have cancer, that they get that face, that like, oh, I'm so sorry face, and that like I feel so bad for you, and like almost no one will say it, but the expecting that you're gonna lose it. You know, you're not going to be, you know, like I remember getting very frustrated because I hadn't even started chemo yet, and they were like, okay, we need to get Jordan an assistant because she's going to be gone. And they hired this girl, and they brought her around my office, and they were like, you know, introducing her, and like, this is for when Jordan's out. And I was like, where the heck am I going? Where am I going? And I remember feeling very frustrated, like almost to the point like I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to kick butt, and I'm going to work every day just to show you what I'm capable of. Now, in hindsight, I no longer work at this hedge fund because it shut down. And, you know, when I think back on how usurped I got into work, you know, how was it for you? Because it sounds like you had sort of a similar, like, I need to just go refocus on what I do and what I do full time, and I don't want to stop the beat of my life for this. How do you feel about that now?
Well, I think the whole cancer thing put things in perspective, because my job as a single parent, you know, I have to kind of, the burden is there. The job allows me to provide for my family. So when the job's out of there, then I get worried. I love what I do. It's my passion. I've been doing teaching for years. I decided that I can't let cancer just dominate my whole life. So when I did work, I was normal, even though I had all this unknown. And that's the scariest thing, is the unknown. That was the first thing for me this whole entire trip, the unknown, not knowing what was inside. When I had the surgery, we'll find out, I didn't know what stage was. I had no idea anything. But going to school and being my teacher and being that my identity was still there, it got me through it. It was hard. I mean, at night, that's when my brain was shut down. I wasn't teaching, and that's when the anxiety came, and I was sleep deprived, and I was tired. But my students and my coworkers were very understanding. I didn't tell my students till the very end, just because I didn't want them to look at me that way. But unfortunately, I've had 3 students this year whose parents are my age that passed away from different cancers. And the kids are very good. They take you who you are. It doesn't define, you know, they don't see you any different. They just care about you more. And they're like, I'm here for you. And they get your mind off things. That was a thing. And my coworkers the same. Unfortunately, I think because of my story, 2 of my coworkers were diagnosed with breast cancer this year as well. And they're both young, under the age of 43. And we're all in the same school. So it's kind of scary. And this is nice that we have this, because I think you know, what everyone was saying, oh, you're young. Oh, it's just a cyst. Oh, you know, don't worry about it. And I think we need to get that away and have women at a young age do the self-exams, have the, you know, the checks, the ultrasound, especially for dense breast, push that, because I didn't have that. And just be more aware of your body, and not push it aside, not to worry about it. Because the other thing I did want to add, and it might be unique in the sense, is that since I'm BRCA positive, I had my ovaries removed the same day as I had my breasts removed. So I'm 44 going through instant menopause, and it's so frustrating because I don't have I don't know how to deal with this. And, you know, I'm sure there's other people out there, but not like you see those ads on TV. I'm not like 65, 70. I can't take and hormones and stuff, and it's just kind of hard dealing with menopause on top of everything else. And I joke that I went in that day on the 14th of August as a woman. I came out as a shell. That's how I felt, because things that define me as a woman are gone. You know, my breasts, my ovaries are gone, and it's just, you're dealing not only with your breast, you're dealing with the loss of your hormones, essentially, you know. I don't know if it is me, but I know it's frustrating.
I had actually been pushed into menopause myself, and they said that it might stay because I'm over 40, and the hot flashes were the worst.
Oh, they're terrible.
Oh my God, because then you don't get any sleep, and then you feel like you're just losing it, like beyond losing it. I remember talking in circles and going, I know I'm doing this, but I tried vitamin E and vitamin B6. I, of course, looked at the internet, and it did work really well. So it might help a little.
I have menopausal-like symptoms, and then with my hormone therapy, I have the option of putting like my ovaries to sleep. And of course, I'm already having all those symptoms now, so I'm like, why not just do it? I'm lucky that I already have my children, and I don't necessarily need those things anymore. But it's just all those decisions that you have to make. And is it better to, you know, do that and take this other drug, or just take the drug that you should take premenopausal? Who knows?